Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're looking at the complete seed-to-field life cycle of one of the world's most absolutely transformative crops, lavender. We're diving straight into the detailed source material to see exactly what it takes to cultivate this plant at a totally professional scale. So, let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this seed-to-field roadmap. We're going to cover 1. Botany and uses, 2. The purple revolution, 3. Choosing the right variety, 4. Propagation methods compared, 5. Nursery and vegetative care, and finally, 6. Field planting guidelines.
All right, Section 1, Botany and Uses, Understanding the Plant.
So, scientifically speaking, Lavandula is a pretty small genus. It's got just 28 species and belongs to the Lamiaceae family. You probably know that better as the mint family. But industrially, the flower is the official money-making part of the plant, and it's the main engine driving its massive commercial value. The source highlights 3 heavyweight species dominating the industry. First up, true lavender, which is highly prized in perfumery and cosmetics. Then there's spike lavender, which, interestingly enough, is actually used for its insecticidal properties. And finally, lavandin, which is highly valued for antiseptic applications. The sheer versatility here is staggering.
Now, you might be wondering, why exactly are these flowers so valuable? Well, it all boils down to this tiny number, 0.5 to 1.1%. That right there is the active constituent percentage of essential oil found in the plant. On average, you're looking at about a 0.8% yield. I know, it sounds like a tiny fraction, right? But that fraction is incredibly potent, highly concentrated, and is quite literally the entire driving force behind the global lavender economy.
Moving on to Section 2, the Purple Revolution, Geographic Journey. Look at this incredible historical journey. Indigenous to the Mediterranean, growing wild in places like France, Italy, and Bulgaria, it was eventually cultivated across Europe by the mid-20th century. But then, in 1957, it was introduced to the Kashmir Valley in India on just a small experimental scale. Fast forward to the present day, and it is heavily cultivated under the Indian government's CSIR aroma mission, specifically in Badarwah in the Dota district, and it's rapidly expanding into the slopes of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. And this expansion wasn't just some minor agricultural shift. Oh no, it was a total economic transformation. The widespread cultivation of this single potent species directly led to the massive agricultural movement now famously known as the Purple Revolution in India. I mean, it practically turned rugged terrains into thriving, highly profitable agricultural hubs overnight.
Next up, Section 3, Choosing the Right Variety, Clones and Cultivars. To get that kind of economic boom, you need the right genetics. The source material specifies exact cultivars needed for a high yield, like Sherry Cashmere and RL12. This is alongside a whole suite of elite high-yielding clones with really precise alphanumeric codes, like AM1 through 5, the A series, and clones B2 and B11. Starting with these elite genetics is absolutely crucial. It's really the only way to reliably hit that optimum 0.8% essential oil target we talked about earlier.
All right, let's get into Section 4. Propagation methods compared, seeds versus cuttings.
So the crucial point here is this. While sexual reproduction, propagating through seeds, is easy, quick, and super economical, it is actually not preferred. Why? Because seed propagation results in significant genetic variation in the progeny compared to the mother plants. To maintain those exact elite clone characteristics we just discussed, vegetative propagation is the way to go. Using 15 to 20 centimeter stem cuttings from 1 to 2-year-old branches is strongly preferred. It's basically like copying and pasting the perfect plant.
But, if a farmer does decide to go the seed route, the rules are incredibly strict. The nursery beds need a precise 1-to-1-to-1 ratio of sand, soil, and farmyard manure. Because the seeds are so incredibly tiny, they have to be mixed with ash or sand before sowing. Then they're planted just 1 to 2 centimeters deep in October or November, and get this, they won't even germinate until April. Plus, you'd need about 1 to 2 kilograms of seed per hectare area just to make it work.
Which brings us to Section 5, Nursery and Vegetative Care, the preferred method. This preferred vegetative method takes some serious prep. Step 1, you have to thoroughly prepare the nursery area by plowing and planking it. Step 2, create raised beds about 1 meter in width using equal parts sand, soil, and FYM. But step 3 is the real kicker here. The prepared beds must be completely covered with a black poly sheet punctured with exact 5 by 5 centimeter holes. It's a very meticulous setup. And honestly, that black poly sheet isn't just for aesthetics or convenience. As the source clearly outlines, its precise agricultural purpose is to trap and maintain essential moisture, regulate the soil temperature, and completely suppress any competing weed growth. It basically creates this perfect protective microenvironment for the cuttings. Next up is the treatment and planting. Step 1, take those 15 to 20 centimeter cuttings from branches that have apical dominant shoots, the top growing tips. Step 2 is a vital chemical dip. You submerge the cuttings in a 1,000 parts per million dilution of a rooting hormone called IBA for exactly 10 minutes. Step 3, in November or December, plant them right into those tine holes in the poly sheet, making sure to bury 2/3 of the stem's length into the soil. And finally, step 4, press the soil down firmly with your fingers and water immediately to ensure perfect cutting to soil contact. And this brilliantly illustrates why that specific 10-minute IBA dip is so vital. By following that exact procedure, farmers achieve a staggering 95% rooting success rate. That's huge. Without it, many of those cuttings would simply rot or dry out. But with it, nearly every single stem transforms into a viable, healthy plant. Now, the nursery phase also requires strict, ongoing maintenance. For transporting, say, if you're moving rooted cuttings over long distances, you absolutely must embed the roots in wet soil and wrap them in a gutty bag. For watering, you've got to keep them hydrated regularly, paying special attention during those hot, dry months of April through June. Also, pruning is a thing. Sporadic flowering is sometimes observed in these young cuttings, and if it happens, those flowers must be pinched off periodically so the plant focuses on root growth, not blooming. Finally, we reach Section 6, Field Planting Guidelines, the final stage. But here is a true testament to the immense patience required in farming. 1 year. That's right. Whether you started with tiny seeds or those 15-centimeter stem cuttings, the seedlings and the rooted cuttings are only ready for actual field transplanting after 1 full year of dedicated nursery care. It's a massive investment of time and energy before a single drop of essential oil can even be imagined. When that year is finally up, timing and geometry become everything. The transplanting specifications are super strict. For timing, fields are planted in late fall, October, November, December, or early spring around February and March. And the spacing? The spatial parameters are absolute. Every single plant must be spaced exactly 75 centimeters by 75 centimeters apart in a precise grid. And applying that strict 75 by 75 centimeter spacing rule across a field leads us to this incredibly specific number, 17,761. That is the exact plant density, the precise number of lavender plants that will perfectly fit into 1 hectare of agricultural land when you follow this grid. It's an amazing combination of biology and mathematical efficiency, right? It is truly remarkable to think about the whole process. A single 15-centimeter cutting, dipped in a specific chemical, covered by a black poly sheet, and nurtured patiently for an entire year, eventually multiplies into exactly 17,761 plants per hectare. And that generates potent essential oils that are literally powering an entire purple revolution. So it really makes you wonder, what other highly specific, seemingly niche regional crops out there hold the hidden potential to completely transform our modern economies? Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the fascinating world of lavender cultivation. Keep learning, keep exploring, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.